Hi everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of Leading on Purpose. My name is Grace Makwaza, and this is a show where we speak about all things leadership, the sustainable development goals, as well as harnessing the power within to create a positive impact within the society. We are living in a time where a lot of people want to start something to create an impact within the society. But the problem is a lot of people don't know about policies, and these are basically the rules and regulations that govern our conduct as human beings within the state and at an international level. Today we're speaking about the importance of educating yourself about policies before embarking on creating positive change within the society. I'm joined by an individual who is passionate about policy making as well as educating other people about it. Sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Could you introduce yourself to the audience?
My name is Antony Kipto. I work with the Kenya Prison Service. I'm a senior sergeant, and I'm currently a student at the USIU doing criminal justice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so before I delve into the nitty-gritties of our conversations, I want to talk about the values that have shaped who you are today. What are some of them?
I think growing up in the natural African setting, we've been influenced mostly by parents, by the church, by our school. So that's where we picked most of the values we hold up to today. Integrity, honesty, being able to express ourselves. If with the family you came in was able to provide you with a safe setting where you're able to express yourself. I think it influences up to now how we're able to put forth our views and what we think we should do to improve ourselves and the society we live in.
Okay, so this far in the work that you do, what are some of the projects that you have embarked on to actually create a positive change within the society?
We work at the prisons setting. We deal with the people who've been sentenced to serve a term because of offences done. So we try to create programs for them that will empower them so that when they go out of our prison facilities, they're able now to reintegrate back to the society, where the sentence in itself is a punishment. So we also try not to accord them more punishment, because already the sentence is a punishment. Personally, I've been worked in many prisons institutions. I remember one time we went in the prisons in the eastern province of Kenya, where we created a school because the prisons facilities were not able to accommodate, for example, young people who are still interested in education. So as part of a team, we made a committee. We requested the prisons facilities to accommodate us, give us a room where we are untrained. We are not trained to be teachers, but because we understood what we could teach, the syllabus, we prepared some students who are prisoners to undertake exams. Okay. Eventually, the whole prison setup was able to accommodate this, and now we have a huge number of offenders now undertaking the exams in the primary, secondary, and other levels. So I think that's one of the things I'm very proud that I was able to begin it and initiate it, and it brings positive. Education always brings positive impact to youth, the women, elderly. It's always a positive impact. Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned something very important, that when you began this work, you were not really trained.
Yes.
With what you wanted to achieve. Yes. Your qualifications do not necessarily merge with that, right? Yes. So my question to you is, in what ways do you think that knowing about policies could have helped you to actually develop this program that you did? Because a lot of people go into such projects without necessarily knowing what policy to stand on. If, say, they're going to ask for funding, they don't even know which office to knock on. So yours, I assume, was successful because you knew where to go to start. So for the benefit of our viewers, what would you say is the importance of educating yourself about policy?
I think it's very important to prepare a background, especially in the policy issues, because even though the project eventually became successful and was replicated all over the country, I think we had a lot of challenges when we began.
Okay.
The challenges will relate to your question, that we were not prepared enough. We did not have a background. We did not know, for example, in the future, in the later years, we have had donors coming in, the Swedish government. We have had the church, the Catholic Church is coming through a missionary who's financing, supplying the toolkits to the prisoners, and education materials. You have like fertility trusts, the other donors who have come in to try to help in this program. But in the beginning, we were not we were not policy-wise able to put our issues well organized, because it was just a beginning. But I think it is very important for the young people, because now you're speaking about the youth, for the young people to prepare, to educate themselves on the policies, to find time to research on the internet, on books, through mentors, on how policy works and how they can use preparation of policies to be able now to achieve, as a plan, as an outline, to be able to achieve whatever programs they want to achieve, and so that they may have an impact that they wish to have on the society. Because I think with a plan, with a policy education, you're able to create programs that will outlive them, so that it's not something that maybe is only has a lifetime, that is dependent on them, that they can have programs that will have a bigger impact on the society and even outlive them.
I love the fact that you speak about change outliving the person who started it. What are some of the lessons that you have accumulated along the way about creating impact that actually outlives you? Because a lot of people actually start, but finishing it and seeing it through becomes a challenge. So what are some of the lessons that you have learned about creating impact that can outlive you?
I think first I will say that in every project that we wish to undertake, I think it's always important to involve people wiser than you, people who've done these things, who've been able to achieve possibly bigger things. And I think that's one of the first things I would attribute to the success of the program, because now when the facilities, the prison system have recognized that this program was important, they incorporated now educationists, curriculum developers, the Ministry of Education, for example, and now we even have in their recruitment now, they even recruit teachers directly from the market, into the system, so they just come and teach. So I think the first will be to incorporate and be able to take in those who are experts in the field. Secondly, I think for those who start a program, they should always be thinking of having the program or a project that they want to impact the society. They should always thinking of a succession plan, so that it's not too dependent on them. They should set up structures, offices. If it's an organization that is, for example, been able to get some financial support, to set up administration, finance, so that these programs are able to regulate themselves, self-run themselves. I think those are two key important factors that we should look at. But also, I think, as you say, many programs, policies that people want to implement fail because of selfish interest, personal interest. If you want to gain before you achieve your project or program, then I think it's most likely going to fail.
Okay, so in your own words, how could you actually paint a picture for the viewer about creating this succession plan? Because to me, I think a succession plan is about building a stable structure that will ensure that whatever it is that you are creating can actually exist when you are not micromanaging everything, right? So what are some of the components of this succession plan?
Going back, I think when I spoke about involving and incorporating people, experts, one of the things I think, because this project, when we started it, it was a small project, but eventually, as I said, it's now a national undertaking. You need a mentor. I think that's one of the components I can say is important. So if you get a mentor, in our own setup, we used our prison's bosses, who have been there, who have served in the system. They understood what we needed to do. They advised us accordingly. This is a way to approach it. This is a way to write, for example, to the administration to allow you a class, because most of every action that takes place inside the prison precincts has to have authorization from the Commissioner of Prisons. So we are able to learn now how to write letters, for example, how to request for these facilities. And I think if we start in that way, and then, as I said earlier, also you incorporate now the experts, the project will succeed on its own. So that even now, I'm not even involved in the project, but the project is ongoing, because I transferred to the headquarters and I went to another section. So I'm not directly linked to the program. But last year I saw results on the newspaper about many of the students from the prisons who have done well. We hope that they're given opportunity to transit to secondary schools and to universities. And we have stories of success stories of people who've undergone this system, and they're now graduates and university graduates, and doing employment and income activities for themselves.
So for me, as I listen to everything that you're saying and how it ties into policy, I think that the mistake that the younger generation is making is that they rush into creating projects which they can't sustain because they're not aware of the nitty-gritties, the rules and regulations, the procedures, the protocols that they're essentially supposed to follow. But to be honest, as someone who's in the younger generation, I think that what stops a lot of young people from getting involved in educating themselves about policies is the fact that they don't understand the importance of having role models and predecessors, right? So the reason for that is because we are living in a different age as opposed to people who lived in the 80s and the 90s. So we find that it's difficult to break down that this is my vision, this is how I want it to be accomplished. What would you say to someone who feels like they are in a generation where the advice of someone who came before them may not necessarily match what they need?
I think this time, the generation that is currently, maybe you can say 10 to 24, maybe to 30, they're living in a different age from my age. I'm a bit older, so they lack that. They lack what you would call role modeling. They're not able to get expression, get views from their older peers, those who've done it, for example, and they depend so much on themselves. I think it is a fallacy from the start. It's not. For some, it might work. You see, for people in the IT, for example, people just get the ideas. They sit down, create programs. It works. Sometimes having so big impact on the society. But on the social side, when you want to have a social impact, I think most of the projects that they need to undertake will need them to involve the older generation, their parents, the church, for example, the school, the lecturers. I think in that way they're able to get more knowledge and get more insights and get more prepared to be able to undertake the vision that they have. Also, they need to educate themselves on policy so that they're able to express their visions. They might have the vision, but now to express it and put it in a way that is
aligned.
Aligned with the policy that is palatable, you can say, that can be absorbed, that can be used by the society, that the policy allows, because they might have the ideas, but it's against, for example, our norms. So they might fail from the start, not necessarily because they're bad, but because they're not aligned.
They're not aligned
to the policies that govern our country, the rules that govern our country. Also, we should just to encourage the young people again that they should not lose faith. The population of the young people today is too big, maybe 2 billion people. The youngest strata in the strata population strata. I think we have the youth as the biggest population, and they might at some point get discouraged just because so many they're not able to push forth their vision and their views. We just want to encourage them and say that the world has a space. The world has a space for everyone and for every idea. They just need to sit down, take it easy, get policies right, get understanding, get educated, use mentors, get role models, and they'll achieve whatever they aspire to achieve. They have an opportunity now with the internet. They have a lot of sources of education, sources of information. If they get the right sources, they'll be able to get the information they need to achieve whatever they want to achieve. Yes.
Okay. I really, really love your sentiments, especially when you said that the world is big enough, that there's space in the world, right? So my follow-up question to that is, how do we ensure that the ideas of development that we are trying to implement are not redundant? Because we find that now impact has now been used as a way of getting to the top, as a way of getting a certain position, as a way of being recognized by certain people. How do we ensure that, number one, we separate the two, that we don't integrate impact into our own self-interest? And the second one is, what would you say that the role of policies in development actually is?
The challenge I think I get from the young people today, the activism, the social activism, the socialite effect is that people want to be big, people want to be popular and so influence. But I don't think that is the way to push forth their views. As I said earlier, when you want to create impact, you don't necessarily. There's need to divide self-interest and the need to create impact on the society. When you look at, for example, I'll go back to the role models of my time. I'm not very old, but it's the Nobel laureate, Wangari Maathai. She's known worldwide. When she started up environmental campaign, she was not, I do not see anywhere where she wanted to gain global popularity or fame. She just wanted to save our trees. I mean, the basic part was, let's just save our trees because we need trees for our future, for the generations now. It is important that we maintain our trees and we keep our trees. Eventually, she succeeded because most of the forests now in Nairobi, for example, are here because of her fight, because of her spirit and a devotion and a drive to ensure that we maintain the forest. Karura Forest is an example. She was not keen on self-interest. But now you see her impact, even though the world has continued to cut down trees and everything, but we can see her impact. I think from role models like her, we are able to see that we need to divide self-interest. Of course, you don't want to win the Nobel, but at the beginning, I don't think she had any idea at one time, for example, she will win the Nobel. So when we start something and we intend to do something, we should not look at for example, fame and self-interest. And to the second question of policy and development, I think you mentioned there's a show we also want to address the SDGs. The youth a very critical role. They are a very critical part to play in ensuring that the world achieves the SDGs.
Yeah.
Because as I said earlier, they are the biggest population. They are the ones with the energy, with the education, with the drive. They have a future to hold on to. They have a future to live for. So when the youth realize, for example, and are able to assimilate into themselves that they are the people, that they are a generation that the world depends on. I think that then it is upon them to take up the mantle and try to drive the development, not necessarily nationally, internationally, globally, so that they drive the development of the world towards what they think we should go to. If, for example, today the idea is information technology, IT, and the young people are really involved in this, I just encourage them to use the time now, to use the education now, to use the ideas now, to drive the world into making, for example, technology that will improve our life, that will improve our drainage, will improve our environment. Climate change is the in thing now. It is upon the young people to take up the drive, because everything else that they do is related to development. The economy, if they involve themselves in the economy, it will develop our country, it will develop our world. If they are involved in health, for example, we need better medication, we need better healthcare. So I think as young people need to know their purpose. Their purpose in development of the world is very critical. Yeah, and they need to embrace it.
I love the fact that you emphasize that young people actually have a role to play in shaping the world that we'll be living in 20, 30 years from now. As a parting thought, what would you say to young people who are short-sighted? Because sometimes I think that impact is very short-sighted in that you want to fill up your resume. You want to ensure that you build up connections. We are in an era of networking and all of that. And to me, that is very short-sighted to even consider it as impact, right? So what would you say to youth who think about impact through the lens of a short-lived result? Yeah.
I think it's unfortunate that while, as you say, the world is now a world of networking, and the young people want to fill up their CVs by doing some stuff that they think is impactful, but not necessarily so. I just want to tell them that when we look at our forefathers and the people who've been able to change this world, look at Barack Obama with his campaign in the US, the first black president. His impact is everlasting. It's just, you just have to live with it. That this was the first guy who opened up doors for the blacks in not necessarily the US only, but the whole world. We look at Nelson Mandela and the charisma. Look at Mahatma Gandhi. They need to look up to the big achievers, those who've achieved big things, and really move away from those short-sighted impacts, in quotes, moves that, as I said, will not outlive them. They need to, for example, where I live, there's this issue of just the African thing is a garbage, so it just disturbs me. You know, when a discipline officer, you cannot get out of your house and then you see some stuff thrown out. So we created our sub group. I said, this is what we need to do. We need to do a weekly cleanup. We cannot, of course, we have a garbage place, but we cannot have this. Let's just do something that our people and our families live in a clean environment. So the thing has taken off now. So every Saturday, even the kids now do it. They clean the place up, and then when the truck comes, so the idea is when I saw this, I did not have. It was not about filling up my CV, for example. It was just, I think this is the right thing to do. If we do this, we change our environment. We start small. We start here, so that even now the kids know that we cannot live in a dirty environment. That's I think is impactful to them. Even them, they'll want to continue with that. So when the young people are thinking of, they have these visions and dreams that come to them, and they wish that they want to change the world. They also need to look at things. They need to look at things from a smaller community level thinking, and usually things that are impactful will always outlive them, and they will replicate themselves. They replicate all over the place, so that you start this idea now, but you see it somewhere else, and you think, so it can move faster. Good ideas move fast, and they make impacts on the society. So the young people, I just want to encourage them. They should not lose focus. They should not lose sight of that. It is their time. It is their place. They should really put down their feet. Even in terms of politics, for example. The young people, as I say, they are the biggest population. But you see, for example, the politics of this country, they are not themselves involved so much as in making decisions and making policies. They just they're absent from the mainstream politics. So during voting, you see them running around, getting some money, but the times of making policies and impacting the societies that we live in, they are not there. So I just want to encourage them to take up the mantle and drive the youth agenda forward.
Thank you so much for all of your impactful ideas, and I really hope that the youth and all of the audience who listen to the show will actually take your advice, because for me it's more about the quality of an idea rather than just having the idea for the sake of having it. So thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. So to our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. Please note that in order to make impact that will outlive you, you have to consider the quality of your idea, as well as seek to align that quality with a policy that will actually give you structure. See you next time.